I created my own budget calculator using a Google Spreadsheets workbook, and it's perfect for me. Today, I want to demonstrate how my monthly budget calculator works. Welcome and welcome back. Thank you for supporting my channel. Well, November 1st, 2025 marks the 1 year anniversary of when I relocated from New Jersey to the more affordable Delaware in order to have a successful retirement. About a month later, I shared my budget from that time. Well, here is my updated October 2025 budget. In the first two rows, I have the contents of my two checking accounts, and then underneath, my income for the month of October. Everything else is mostly bills, and there are some allowances for food, gas, car maintenance, and spending and incidentals. And way down under the bill total are a few rows that I don't use as often as I should, like for example, this one. But these are for things that don't necessarily happen every month. Now there is one that happens every month, which is a transfer between my checking and savings account for my emergency fund. But other than that, for example, this row, I can change the label to something else here. So let's say that there's a refund coming through that I'm expecting. I can put that refund here, and then I can delete it once it comes through. Another example would be a a bill that's carrying over from the month before that I'm waiting to clear, or extra cash that I might be expecting for this month but hasn't come in and cleared yet. Today, I'm going to walk you through how this calculator works and show you some of the formulas in it. And then I figured in next week's video, I can be more detailed about how this calculator helps me to keep track of my cash flow. So column C is where all of my due dates are. And if I hover over these little black flags, they are notes that I add to the cell. And it contains just extra information. For example, certain amounts, what account I expect the amount to come out of. It could also contain things like due dates and policy numbers. And wherever you see a blue text, it's because it's an actual link to the particular website where I could pay that bill. Now, these check boxes in columns D and E are for keeping track of whether a payment has been scheduled, meaning that I actually went to the website and paid the bill. And then once it clears from my account, I check off that it's actually paid. So let me show you what's going on behind the scenes. A21 is my total cash. And there's a formula in this cell that adds A1 through A4. And you can see the formula here for cell A21. So it's the sum of A1 through A4, which is my two checking accounts, my pension, and any income I might make from my side hustle. So let's say I'm getting $1,000 from Pearson, my side hustle, for the month. Let's just take note of what the total cash is before the $1,000, and that would be $947.14. So when I add the $1,000, then down here, now my total cash is updated to 1,947 and 14 cents. And this is kind of just the holding cell for Pearson until it actually clears in my account. So I'm going to put scheduled there, and then when it's paid, I'll check that off I will delete the 1,000 here and add 1,000 instead to whichever checking account it cleared in. And then my total is still the same here, 1947 and 14 cents. All right, so cell A22 is my bill total. When I hover or when I select it, it shows that what's happening here is everything in cells A5 through A19 is getting added up. But since these are negative numbers, then that's why the total is negative. Now, the reason why the numbers appear with parentheses is because I set the format of the cell that way. So I'll show an example. Let's say I owe $88 for my student loans. Oh, by the way, the total for the bill was 709 and 82 cents. When I add the $88 of student loans, and I say minus, right, because it's a bill, then it gets converted automatically to parentheses, and you can find that format here. You go to Format, Number, and change it to Accounting, and that will make it in that format. Or you could do Financial, whatever format of numbers you want, you can set it there. So now my bill total has increased. It is now $797.82. And finally, in cell A31, we have the balance. So that's how much money I have left over at the end of the month. The formula in this cell adds A21 through A30. So that's the total cash minus, or, plus the negative bill total and plus any other amounts in these additional cells. So let me just reset everything. I'm going to delete the $88 and delete that extra 1,000. And now my balance goes back to what it was before, $237.32. Let's say I overspend way too much and I have nothing left in my checking account. Then my balance cell will turn red. So if it's anything below 0, it will turn red, just to signify that, I'm at a negative. And it stays green if it's above 0 or above. Well, I hope you have enjoyed this overview of my budget calculator. I just really wanted to show you how it works. And the next week, I will get more in depth into my actual cash flow for the month of November. Because at the end of October, what I usually do at the end of the month is just delete that sheet. And I use the monthly budget template. I make a copy of that and create a new template. So the next time we meet, it will be, I guess, about the first week. I'll be heading into my second week in November, and we'll take a look at that budget. Do you use a specific way to keep track of your monthly cash flow? If so, I would love to hear about it in the comments. If you want to continue following my early retirement journey as it unfolds, consider subscribing. And please share this video with anyone who might find it useful. And finally, in the description box below is a link to more videos in this series, which is called Money Moves. Until next time, stay inspired and keep thriving.